all my life, I grew up kind of like you in a little bit, going to a good school that believed in the principles of following God. And I wore a tie and a shirt. My wife went to the same kind of school when we were young. And I was telling them the other day when they asked me if I would come here and speak, and of course I was excited to do that, but I didn't know if I would be able to speak to you because I didn't speak the Sri Lankan language. And then last night they showed me the video of several of you up and speaking, and I was really amazed. Not just how good your English was, but how poised and how professional you sounded. That just doesn't happen automatically. You have worked at that. You've had good education and good teachers, and so I'm very happy this morning. And I just have a couple of little points that I would like to share with you, and then maybe when I'm done talking, if any of you have any questions, or I'm not sure if we're just going to do it this way, I'd be more than happy to answer questions about whatever you want to ask, about what it's like in America, or whatever you may have curiosities for. But I want to, as I look at you all this morning and all your bright, smiling faces and all your beautiful attitudes, I want to tell you that each one of you, each individual person in here, has a special value that is all your own. You are valuable, all your own, very unique. That value was placed there by God. You know that? Each one of you, it was chosen and especially placed a value in your heart, inside of you, by God. And that brings some responsibility. You have a responsibility to make that value come out. The Bible calls it sometimes a light. You have a light that's been placed within inside of you. And what is the purpose of light? You might know, what's the purpose of light? Is it to shine? The purpose of light is to shine. And it's to shine for the benefit of others around you. Not just for yourself. So the intrinsic value, the special value that is in each one of you, is placed there by God for the purpose of giving your value to other people. Your family, your friends, and to your community and those people that you engage with all the time. It is a responsibility for you to become the very best you that you can be. Now right now you have an amazing school to be in. Very privileged to be in this school. I can see that already. But no matter how much you may like to, some of you, you won't always be in school. There will be a day when you're going to leave school and you're going to be in the world, you're going to be on your own, you're going to be a grown-up. And you have a responsibility now, when you are young, to develop that light, to make that light be able to shine. You make choices every day. You have the responsibility. You've been given the responsibility of making these choices, right? And those choices will lead you either into light or, as we know, into darkness. You can make wrong choices. You can continue to make wrong choices. But what we do when we're young, right here, we build the habit of making good choices. We make the habit of building good choices. Right? So you have to understand that you have a lot of value. That value is placed there by God, like a light. The light has the purpose of shining for others. And you have the ability to choose to do that or choose not to. And you have to develop it. So how do we develop our value? How do we develop the light within us? Especially when we're young, building the good habits. Well, first of all, you have to treat yourself as though you're a valuable person. You have to treat yourself as though you have value. Part of that is making sure that you treat your body as though it has value, as though it's important. choosing the right kind of foods to eat. So in my job, I work with a lot of people who unfortunately did not choose good food all their life. And when they're a little older, that comes back. It comes back to get them. When you're young, you can eat the snacks and the junk and the chips and the sweets. A little bit of that is okay, but you can eat too much of it. And you don't really realize the damage that it's doing to you. But later on, I have to deal with those people. And they have heart problems. You can choose to treat your body as though it has value. So give it good, wholesome, natural food, right? And try to discipline yourself to stay away from too much of the sweets, too much of the sugar, too much of the junk food. You can also treat your mind as though it has value. You make the choice and you learn how to treat your mind as though it has value. How do you do that? Well, first of all, be careful what you put in there. Be selective. Be smart and be selective about what you allow to go inside your mind. Because what you go inside your mind will start to plant like a seed in the potting soil. If you plant good things, it will grow good things. That's why in the Bible, the Apostle Paul told those he said, whatsoever is good, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are fruitful, whatsoever things are righteous, think on these things. He was teaching them to treat their mind as though it has value and place good things in their mind. And avoid evil at all costs. That's one way that you treat your mind as though it has value. And then you can treat your soul, your body and your mind, you can treat your soul as though it has value. The way you do that is by choosing right actions, by choosing humility. You all know what humility is? Yeah. Instead of choosing pride and arrogance and bitterness and resentfulness, you can choose humility and respect for elders, respect for others. That's treating your soul as though it has value. When you do these things, and you make the choices as you're growing up and getting older and getting stronger, you develop the light within inside of you. It has been shown statistically by scientific studies and research that if a person knows how to think, really think deeply, think critically, and if a person knows how to read, and read to comprehend, to read deeply, and to be able to write, to express yourself. If you can think critically, if you can read deeply, and if you can write expressively, that person, those are the most successful people in the world. Nothing can stop that person. You can do anything. But all those things are choices, and they're habits that you make starting out when you're young. Making habits of doing good, of feeding yourself, looking at yourself as though you have value, because God looks at you that way. God placed that value on you. I want to stress on you that you have a responsibility to the others around you to be the best you can be. In the world right now, there's a lot being said about governments maybe not doing the right thing. Some governments are failing. And we can get too caught up in thinking, well, if we just have the right person in government, things will be better. If just the right person is leading the country, things will be better. But that's not really the case. The true responsibility does not lie with a few people at the head of a government. It lies with you and me. With you and me. How I treat you and how you treat me and how we choose to treat one another